You cannot run, you cannot hide, because he is always in your mind. What's going on, guys? My name's Anthony, or Big B Stats, and today I'm going to be going over some piggy things you should know about the mystery man, the Insolence Boss. I'm also going to be breaking this video up in chapters. We're going to be covering some very important topics, and this is going to be everything you need to know about the mystery man thus far. So if you do enjoy today's video, remember to leave a like on it and feel free to subscribe for more, and feel free to leave down below some suggestions on the next thing we should do on Piggy Things You Should Know. So let's talk about the very first appearance that we have of the Insolence Boss. At the point of making this video, the current name of the Insolence Boss is just 3 question marks. Now, Zizzy did call the Insolence Boss Mystery Man, but we do not have a name yet, so do bear that in mind. Now, the first appearance happens in Temple Chapter 10, the Savior ending, and the Insolence Boss sort of shows up in our mind and threatens us and says, hey, if we don't stay out of his business and if we continue to follow our current path to find the cure, he's gonna make us live to regret it. Now, we do also learn how he actually gets into your mind, which is very key. And the biggest question that you're probably asking yourself if you do not know this is, why us? So why us? Why is the Insolence Boss coming to us, and has he come to us before? And the answer is yes. So the Insolence Boss is actually quite fascinated with us. He thinks we're unique. Why? Because we are also immune to the infection. And we also find out that the Insolence Boss is the one that really causes the distorted in the map. So we have like distorted memory. We also have the distorted plant as well. So where we had that distorted plant where we can see different flashbacks of worlds, and that was the Insolence Boss's doing. Now, the appearance of the Insolence Boss almost looks human-like, very tall, has long fingers as well, an individual finger, so we do know that this appears to be a human and not a piggy character. Has a hat, a purple hat. Mainly purple is the primary color, with a suit. Reminds me of Mr. P too. Red bow tie, an insolence flower on the hat. And we also have an eye patch. We have kind of like a mask cut out and kind of like almost a scarecrow mask, it looks like, and an insolence eye. Now, why did the Insolence Boss go into Pony's mind? Well, Pony felt very guilty for what Pony did in TSP, henceforth poisoning Doggy, poisoning us, and Pony has been feeling very, very guilty. Now, the Insolence Boss capitalized on this weakness and snuck into his mind. Now, this started back in Chapter 4, The Safe Place. Pony did mention about some voices, and then it really picked up later on when we got to the actual docks. Now, believe it or not, this all circles back around to Georgie. I do think Georgie has seen the Insolence Boss. Why? Because Georgie was in distorted memory, and in distorted memory, this whole distorted thing comes from the Insolence Boss, which he explained that in the end of Temple, because he was able to kind of like have Doggy and Bunny appear as hallucinations. And this really ties again down to the distorted memory, which was based around Georgie. And Georgie's weakness was Georgie was alone. Georgie had no family, and this is where the Insolence Boss snuck in and was trying to possibly make a deal with Georgie, but it looks like Georgie either denied it, or Georgie later is going to come out and say that he's actually taken the deal, and maybe Georgie is there undercover and is on the Insolence Boss's side. So just something to think about there, guys. We cannot trust Georgie 100%. That's just in my personal opinion. And another thing that actually confirms that this whole distorted has a lot to do with the Insolence Boss is because in the new distraction chapter, it turns out that Zizzy was in a distorted refinery. We had the same type of things, the same type of text on the wall from distorted memory that we had in book 1, and then we have the same thing in book 2, distraction map. And then we also see the Insolence Boss in the end of that, which in the end we also learn a lot about the origin, a little bit of the Insolence Boss. So Zizzy calls the Insolence Boss the Mystery Man, and this ending was by far one of the most important, I think, of the whole entire Piggy series. And let's talk about the Insolence Boss, who this possibly is, and what are some things that he has revealed. So he did reveal that he once lived in our world, the Piggy world, and he was also young and quiet. He felt alone and made himself a friend, one from the beyond. Now, one from the beyond means either it's a friend that is already dead and maybe he's done something and summoned a friend, which I'm going to talk about who I think this friend is. Now, he also goes on to say that they were very great friends, maybe too great of friends, and he started to become just like his friend that he got from the beyond, and it turns out that his friend was not too happy about that. The friend made it clear to the world, and in this scene it's interesting because the Insolence Boss represents fire, so I do feel like something did happen to him in a fire, which is why he is wearing the mask, and he possibly died. I don't think this character is alive. I do think he did die, and it is quite unfortunate. Now, he also goes on to say that, you know, his time ended in our world and then it began in his insolence realm. Now, who could have been his friend? And I personally feel like his friend is Mr. Stitchy. Why? Because Mr. Stitchy has also a similar appearance. Now, one important thing that I really want to point out is that to summon Mr. Stitchy, we needed 5 candles, and those 5 candles activated the portal to also summon Mr. Stitchy. And I find it funny that there are about 5 portals in the Insolence realm, almost shaped like how the candles were. However, I do find that interesting, and again, this just resembles a way that he was trying to be like Mr. Stitchy. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the notes too, because these notes really tie into this as well on why it could also be Mr. Stitchy. That's the friend that he summoned from the beyond. And we have a note that was back in Carnival, which said, when he learned of my condition, he grew sad and frustrated. He left. We also have a note which says, I gave him a face. I was his only friend. And it could be that the Insolence Boss was the one writing these. These do appear to be older notes as well, which would totally make sense. There was another note that said someone began to disrupt the countryside. The descriptions of the witnesses matched his look. I never saw him again. So there's just a lot of similarities between the distorted map, also Mr. Stitchy, the Insolence Boss, and everything. It just is really making a lot of sense. But we don't have a clear point of who this character is, as it does appear that this character was human. But overall, I don't think we can trust the Insolence Boss at all. We know not to take any deals because I feel like there are empty promises, and he definitely has a hidden agenda and is building this army, and I'm curious to know exactly what's going to happen if we do find a cure. And also the George theory, if George is someone that we can trust. I mean, George seems very, very trustworthy, but it just reminds me of that distorted memory if we can truly trust Georgie. So we'll have to see, ladies and gentlemen. But what do you all think of the Insolence Boss? Let me know down below in the comments. But if you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like and share, and also feel free to subscribe for more. And if you're new, and if there's anything you think I should cover that of some Piggy things that you should know, make sure to comment them down below. I'll be sure to do an in-depth video and cover it. But thank you all so much. Feel free to leave a like and share it, and feel free to subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.